Chương trình này được bảo trợ bởi
Family Joy, tổ ấm y tế của mọi gia đình, 714 898 0765.
Hi, welcome back to the OC Health and Education Show. I'm your host, Juliet. Today we have an opportunity to talk and focus more on the Stop Asian Hate and Hate is a Virus movement. We have three special guests on our stage today. That's Sean Lee from the Purist Group, Rob Wang from, what group are you on? From Platinum Motorsport, I apologize. Thank you. And also Michelle from Hate is a Virus. Today we had an opportunity to learn more about who they are in our community and also why is that, what was their personal impact and why are they part of this movement. Before the commercial break, we have an opportunity to talk to Sean and also to talk to Rob. However, now we want to continue and have a chance to learn about Michelle's personal story. Michelle, again, thank you so much for being on our show. We have an opportunity to talk to the boys earlier. Rob was taking up all the floor time and didn't give you an opportunity. So right now, we're going to give you the time. So tell us about your personal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, being born and raised in Los Angeles, my dad is a third-generation Japanese American. My mom is from Japan. So growing up, it was a very interesting mix of kind of this American culture, but then also being really integrated and learning about my heritage and whatnot. And I used to hide all of that. And I was ashamed of where I came from. You know, I didn't like who I was. And so, you know, I was always trying to be this other person that I wasn't. As I got older, I really started to see the harm that I was, you know, causing not only to my family but to myself, and how I really wanted to refine my own identity and how I can kind of make an impact in that sense. So early in my 20s, I started to explore that, and you know, I'm a designer in the fashion space, and so kind of exploring my way of expressing myself in that sense really brought me actually to what I'm doing now with Hate is a Virus. I designed this logo, and it really, you know, I shared a story recently through an interview of the actual like microaggressions and things that I experienced growing up. And I think it's so important for us to continue to share our story and to share our culture and heritage, because these things are oftentimes overlooked here. And being able to do that most recently for the first time in my life, I just turned 30, it really was almost therapeutic for not only my family but for myself.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for following on our show for OC Health and Education. Today we had a chance to hear about Sean's personal story, his family struggle, Rob's family struggles regarding, you know, having a lot of challenges and seeing the race relation and difficulties with his grandparents. And now Michelle sharing her personal story. Definitely, you know, we all come with our personal experiences, but what I love today is I have three beautiful, strong, giving and kind people that really wants to come together for this movement. So tell me a little bit more about, you know, Hate is a Virus. How did that start, and what kind of vision are we looking at for the whole community at large?
Yeah, so Hate is a Virus really began actually in my living room. I was sitting with some of my teammates, and we were kind of just discussing what was going on in our community. We've thrown community events in my backyard. We used to do that, you know, all throughout summer last year. And we started to see via social media, via the media, of all of the rise in the anti-Asian hate crimes, but we didn't really see a lot of folks talking about it. And so we couldn't just sit there and stay silent. And so my teammate, Carrie Okubo, actually coined the term Hate is a Virus. And initially, we started to see, even in our personal network, of folks starting to avoid the Chinatowns and the Koreatowns and whatnot because of this misinformation that people were going to catch coronavirus. And so we wanted to support small Asian-owned restaurants in that sense. So Hate is a Virus started off as a food crawl, and we did one of those. And then 2 days later, or a couple of days later, lockdown happened. So that is when I connected with my co-founder Tammy Cho, who also is the CEO of a other nonprofit called Better Brave, and she focuses on harassment in the workplace. And then also my other co-founder Brian Pham, who is the founder of Asian Hustle Network. The three of us got together and decided to take this initial grassroots movement into a digital space.
Well, I thank you so much for opening the conversation and bringing so many people together. I know that all of us here, we're not people that's just going to hashtag, we're all action people. So I appreciate you for taking that action and bringing us along on that journey. Thank you, Michelle. Thưa quý vị, hôm nay Michelle có thời gian nói chuyện với chúng tôi về Hate is a Virus. Hate is a Virus là một cái movement để cho mình có thời gian nói chuyện về kỳ thị, mà không phải là phần kỳ thị không á, là mình phải có thời gian làm phải báo cáo. And mình nhiều lúc á, thì có nhiều người không có hiểu được cái kỳ thị là cái gì, về cái quan trọng để cho sao mình phải báo cáo về cái mấy phần đây. You know, one of the things I was mentioning is that, you know, oftentimes in our Asian community, when a hate crime occurs, many of us are afraid to talk about it, and more importantly, many of us are afraid to report it. I know, Rob, you mentioned that your family or your grandparents experienced all of these. And I know in Orange County, there's an organization called OC, a Health Resource. And when there's a hate crime that's involved, we are always encouraging our families and our friends to report. And it's not about just the violence that happened, but also the verbal discrimination, the difficulties at work, difficulties in the community. When someone gives us a racial slur, many of our Asian community kind of accept that. So can you tell me a little bit about, you know, what is it that you want to do, Rob, to help the community as far as an action plan?
I mean, you know, again, with Sean, Michelle, you know, with you guys, with all the great work you guys do, really, I just wanted to use my platform with cars to try to bring awareness and do what I can. And anytime I can support Sean's event or any of the charities or the toy drives he's doing, we try to do that and give back to the community. For me, this Stop Asian Hate really kind of hit home for me because being born here, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, for growing up, I was kind of like, well, I'm American. You know, I did, you know, since you mentioned it, you know, I shied away from being Chinese, you know, and as I got older, it's like, you know, I am Chinese and I'm proud of it, you know, and then with everything happening and stuff like that, I simply just wanted to use my platform with cars and try to make a difference, even if it's 1% of whatever it is, to do something so I can just bring awareness, really.
You know, during the commercial break, Rob, I know I keep on telling you, you're always downplaying your role in the community. So I just want to say, you know, I thank you for being an organizer. Thank you. For organizing these events and bringing people together. And I really do appreciate you. I know you're not just Sean's friend and Sean's helper. So,
man, listen, I'd love to be a shadow to learn from. I mean, well, all seriousness aside, the stuff I hear that he does, even before I met Sean, was very impressive. I mean, doing the school backpack thing, the toy drives, because, you know, I tried doing a toy drive. I thought mine was pretty successful. Then I saw his. I was like, holy cow! You know, he's really doing it right. So, you know, I'm just really trying to follow in Sean's footsteps. You know, to do good in the community.
Well, Sean, how do we follow in your footstep? Because, you know, I think on this show, what I'm seeing is that we all admire each other.
True.
We're just celebrating each other,
That's
right?
Awesome.
So, Sean, tell me, you know, what is it, your vision about the world and about, you know, us as community leaders?
I'm not being humble, but starting this to do the right thing is never about leading or have someone following. It's about doing the right thing, right?
Yes.
So I'm glad I'm able to influence so many people. They're trying to give up their 1%, 2% of their time, which is the most important thing to make a change. And now we are making a difference, right? And it's not just against Asian hate. What I was looking at is actually hating other person. I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I have a lot of anger inside of me from abandonment from my parents, and I understand where that comes from.
Yes.
But hating on a person, it's a very sad thing for that person who's hating on, right? And it's just not a right thing. So hopefully we can bring out awareness. Just not about hate against Asians, it's about hate against everybody out there.
About humanity.
Yeah, about humanity. It's about humanity. So this movement is not just a bunch of Asian got together trying to tell people, oh, stop hating on Asian. It's a bunch of people that got together in one ethnic, try to bring an awareness that do not bring hate into your life. Try to be a little bit more human. Try to be more positive towards other people. It does wonder for yourself if you stop hating people. It was just a simple thing.
That's an important message. Thưa quý vị, hôm nay Sean với mấy bạn hôm nay có thời gian nói chuyện về cái lý do tại sao chúng tôi sẽ làm hai cái tổ chức. Một tổ chức ở Anaheim trong ngày 17 thứ bảy trong tháng 4 với ngày 2 trong tháng 5. Hôm nay Sean có một cái lời nhắn đó là cái phần mà mình ghét ai theo kỳ thị đó là rất là làm cho khó khăn cho mình. Quan trọng nhất á, thì lúc mà mình có thương nhau, mình hiểu nhau, hay mình hợp tác nhau á, thì có rất nhiều tốt đẹp hơn. Thưa quý vị, cảm ơn quý vị đã tiếp tục theo dõi chương trình Kiến thức y khoa gia đình và xã hội. Sau phần quảng cáo, chúng tôi sẽ tiếp tục nói thêm về chương trình đây với có một cái guest mới, đó là anh Joseph sẽ nói thêm về cái chương trình của Stop Asian Hate.